Hello and welcome. My name is Walid Shaya.
I'm Kavita Raj.
And you know what this is. This is Lights,
Camera,
and Conversation. Cheers, Kavita. Good to see you.
Cheers.
What's been happening this last week? Fill me in.
Oh my gosh. I mean, this whole week has been meetings. So a very good thing is, in the industry, when you're meeting creatives and you're having productive conversations about next steps and, plans, it is a very exciting moment.
Yes.
I get excited about every meeting, and I think that is the deal. That is
the meeting. But you should put, I
put all my love and passion into every meeting, and I really do think that I take them very seriously, and I really do think that's the next step. However, it doesn't always work out that way.
Right.
And some of those meetings just end up, I try to turn everything to a positive. Like I try to make sure that the meetings are converted to like positivity and relationship building. So that was our week. How was your week? What did you do?
I'm going to piggyback off that. Lots of meetings and meetings with different people. A conversation with my agent, a meeting with one of my business partners, a meeting with one of my directors for a studio that I run in DC, Moonlit Wings, a meeting with my assistant for the studio here in LA.
Yes.
And a lot of these meetings now are just looking at what's coming up next in terms of the strikes that are happening and how business is and how we can really think outside the box to keep things fresh and provide our services and resources and to keep the ball rolling.
I know nobody has a crystal ball, but being that you're in the heart, the epicenter of the film and TV world, do you have any indication as to when some kind of a resolution or an agreement will happen?
Some of the producers that have said, we're going to wait till writers lose their apartments.
Correct. I heard that.
And we're going to drag this out through, Thanksgiving or the end of the year.
Right.
If you look this up on Google, you're going to find a lot of these quotes and these stories. And I think they're scare tactics because I want to assume, thinking about what the producer is dealing with, they want to scare the writers. They want to scare the union to think, we're not going to nudge. Why else would they say that? They're hopefully, from my perspective, running out of ammo, running out of time, running out of content. And I hope and pray it's a matter of time, but it's really not something I could confidently give you a time frame with.
Yeah, I know. And, it's such a battle of wills, right?
Yes.
It is like, are they going to run out of content? And are they going to come to the negotiating table?
They will run out of content. I think it's about equality here beyond both sides. I can tell from my own personal standpoint that the producer side has a lot more of the funds.
Sure, 100%.
And it's simply because these actors, most of them in the working class, or these writers, most of them in the working class, don't have wages that are livable off of that career.
Right.
They have jobs doing, service industry, doing side gigs, teaching, craftsmanship. I mean, it could be anything, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of sounds like what we're going to be talking
That's
about
our
today.
topic.
Yes, ding, ding, ding.
Oh my gosh.
So let's go right into it.
Yeah, let's go right into it.
Our topic today, go ahead and tell us a little bit more.
It is how to cope between gigs, between jobs, and how to manage in that phase in the middle.
Correct. So, actors and I guess artists in general are the most kinds of positions that are consistently unemployed and the least employed. Now, that's nobody's fault. That's just the way freelance work is, especially in television and
Even
film.
in good times.
Even in good times. For example, Meryl Streep, she probably doesn't make more than one film a year. Realistically speaking. Now, she doesn't need to. That's another story. But the reality is most performing artists aren't doing concerts constantly. Sure, there's the occasional residency for these megastars. Sure, there are the top 1% that are constantly releasing Netflix films like Adam Sandler, Jennifer Aniston, just so many Netflix films that are of, in my opinion, mediocre quality compared to especially some of their previous works. But ultimately, that's where we're at.
What a great point. This is a new world, and in this entertainment space that we're kind of delving in, the fluctuation and the dynamic is just so volatile. Then you have your good months, and then you have your down months. You have your great weeks, and then you have your no work week, and which is again coming down to say that we have to find ways to get through the dip and kind of be prepared when the surge happens again.
Absolutely. You know, and one of the best ways, in my opinion, to stay sharp is to practice. It's to sharpen your skill sets. Practice makes perfect, they say now. Perfect's its own thing. I don't think that exists, right? For me, it's more about progress.
I love that word.
Practice makes great progress, which can lead to perfection of its own kind. So with that said, I think any good artist, whether you're trying to do acting or directing, you are, you know, taking classes still, or if you can't afford a class right now, you are reading scripts. You are finding ways to educate yourself. You're playing with your visual self-tape setup or with some of the equipment you have or the software you might have for editing, or you're revitalizing your social media and your brand and image and updating all your tools so that when things do pick back up, you're ready to go. Now, those are all things you could be doing to keep your artistry up. And of course, your health, working on your fitness, making sure you're in shape, making sure you're feeling good. But beyond that, we have to do things to also make money.
Yeah, and I think figuring out the ways to do this in an affordable fashion is the most important thing. Like you said, looking up those, you know, online tutorials that will help you learn production in the music business, for example, you know, learning how to be a better songwriter. And for that, to be a better songwriter, you have to be kind of, you know, healthy and mentally in like a nice space to be able to create a new piece of work. And so that again comes back to taking care of yourself. So a combination of staying as positive as you can, taking care of yourself, and, you know, developing your artistry, continuing to grow. And there are so many different things that we're going to touch upon in the next, you know, few minutes. But again, coming back to, do we have to pay for quality lessons, or are there, you know, lessons out there that you don't have to pay top dollar for, that you can utilize and practice and, you know, make the most of?
I think the answer is both.
Yeah.
You know, you get what you pay for. Don't forget that. That's been a lesson I've learned through the years. You really get what you pay for. And there is such value in working with a coach or a mentor or a trusted source, or being in a program that's going to give you results and tangible tools for your portfolio or success. At the same token, there is so much at our fingertips, right? We need to take our own initiative and be self-starters and go ahead and explore these options that you mentioned, watch videos on our own, read more, trial and error, that sort of thing.
Is this also a great time to learn how to barter, right? This may be the time to be like, hey, listen, if you can teach me how to produce a song, I would love to be like a vocal. If you want in a song, I can be like I can write a top line, few lyrics for your song. I can, whatever it is. I'm just saying that a great way for you to like exchange services.
Great idea. Beyond you putting bread on your table from a job, you could do exchanges.
Yeah, exactly. And this is so important to be like, I know we're not like in the 1700s, but it is so important to have that. And then that again comes from building relationships authentically, right? I think before a situation comes up, you should build those relationships with people that you connect with, people that you trust, people that you like to work with, because this industry is about like a choice. You know, nobody like goes into this as like, oh my God, I have to do this. This is like the only, this is really an industry that you're in by choice and you enjoy it. So having gotten there and having developed the skill and the artistry to be here, how to get creative. There are so many ways to get creative, and we're just touching the tip of the iceberg. But I am on social media, and I know that some of the highly engaging influencers are getting endorsements. They are getting people to send them products. That's another way. You should look at products also as some form of like an income, because you are saving on buying that. Like suppose you are like posting enough and somebody's sending you like hair care, just makeup, shoes. Yes. Those are things that you have to look at it positively as like, okay, fine, you know, I am kind of checking that off the list to buy this one.
And it is a job. I had a friend who was sent a lot of items, and I went to her place. I was like, wow, lots of boxes here. And she's like, this is work. It's free stuff, but I have to do a post on it and a story, and I have to get in hair and makeup and put my lights up and do the whole thing.
Correct.
But the reality is, that's now a cost that she's not spending from her pocket to purchase those items. She had a dog, and she got a lot of these dog companies to send her things she needs for her pets. Pets are expensive.
Yeah.
Things, that are in our budgets are expensive. So it's helpful to have that. But I do want to go back really quick to what you mentioned about being tight-knit with your community and your circle. One of the first things you can do is tap into that circle, right?
Correct. Yes.
Is to say, hey, I don't like to say work slow right now just because that's leading in the negative. And I like to say instead, hey, I'm opening my calendar up with some dates for the next bit of time and booking some more work. Is there anything you need help with or any projects you're working on that I can jump in on?
Yeah.
There's a little bit more flexibility in my availability.
Yeah.
And I think that's positive. That sounds like, you have control of what's going on and you'd like to add some more to your plate. Not that you're desperate and you need a job and are seeking it. Living in that vibration of desperation is a really low frequency in vibration, and you want to make sure to lift yourself up and to keep your hopes up and stay in the positive, because at the end of the night, it is survival we're talking about. It is our job and livelihood and putting bread on the table. So tap into your community. Don't be afraid to ask within your network and inner circle, and they might have some ideas too.
Yeah, and then finding creative ways to work as well. So over and above the bartering and exchanging of things you need, once that is done, once the networking has been done and you have reached out, and once the lessons and the development is done, I think finding work that is as close to your interest is the next step. So in the interim period, if it is in the service industry, if it is in the production assistance work, if it is writing assisting work, if it is like editing assistant work, start with whatever you can do. And again, going back to your network, spread the word that you're looking and offer to do it like a couple of times at a nominal cost. And then when people see that you're adding value to their business and you're doing it, they may be creative. They may be like, hey, you know what? I was thinking you should be doing this now.
Hey, you just told everyone to be an entrepreneur.
Yes, exactly.
And
I think we
have
think
to.
like that, both of us,
Yes.
right? We're always, I think, literally, it's in our DNA. Like every week, you and I are talking about new ideas and creative ways to fill our time, creative ways to be productive. We're both workaholics. I think that I can say. So that is, I'm not like necessarily endorsing that for everyone to do. But we do tend to maximize. We love what we do.
And
that's what it is.
It's easier when you love what you do and
Yeah.
you have options. And I do want to share this too with our viewers catching us on YouTube. Hi, everybody. And those of you listening to us on your favorite podcast platform. It's one of those things where we've worked hard to get to a level where, gratefully for me and for you, a lot of the things I'm involved in, whether it's acting, directing, or something on, the more business side that's still a bit creative, I'm working within my industry. I'm using the skills that, I've acquired in my field.
Yeah.
And that hasn't always been the case. And I do sometimes have to resort to taking jobs that I might not normally want to take because it's a little bit slower of a period. But I think ultimately it takes time to build the love and routine, to look forward to coming to something that will open more doors for you, because in the beginning it's one door, but then it's two, and then it's three, and it continues, to be what we call the revolving door, right? A revolving door, especially with your Rolodex and community, especially with your experiences. It only revolves faster, and more people and ideas and opportunities are coming in and out of it. And that's the idea here.
Right, exactly. Also utilizing everything that you have in your home setting, right? Managing with the lights. People are like getting creative. People are making TikTok videos, like for example, while they're on a walk, while they are, running, and, tapping into that higher level of thinking comes from staying positive and living on that higher vibration that we should trust the process. Things will happen, the doors will open, and until then, you continue to do good work, develop, and have faith in your community as well.
Yeah.
Having said that, this ongoing thing, I think for a few weeks we are going to be talking about this topic of the strike because it is ongoing and it is something that is affecting so many people in our community. How do you stay, in addition to all the physical things, how do you stay mentally at peace? How do you also keep that up? What are some of the things that you would advise a friend?
Sometimes the news is a gift and it's helpful to know what's happening in the world, and sometimes it's a curse. And news doesn't just mean when you flip through your major broadcast, news channels. It also means what you're ingesting from social media, what you're hearing from peers and people you surround yourself with. What's the information in chatter? And for me, when it comes to a stressful moment like this, I try to really make sure to cleanse and to only hear things that are bringing me joy. As simple as that sounds, right?
Did you talk about that?
And we talked about this recently, you and I, but it's being conscious to substitute the noise, right? And the negativity with things that will fill my cup.
Because we only have 24 hours in the day,
Correct.
right? And we're all doing, what we can in the time we have. And making that time count is a very personal thing. Everybody should fill their time up with whatever it is that, helps you. But in the context of this situation, if you are in the entertainment industry and you have this period of time between jobs, staying as focused on your next dream job or your next goal would be the right angle to kind of focus on.
Absolutely.
And that definitely includes watching content that is going to uplift your art, your mind, your well-being, all of that. And health is definitely one of them. And health is something that's a universal necessity. It's a universal requirement to keep moving forward. So that is something that we all should spend more time focusing on.
I think it's the basics, really, right? So especially when we have the time to not be so worried about reporting for our 9 to 5, perhaps the worry is shifted to finding a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is, in this time, am I actively looking and seeking jobs? And when I'm not doing that, what else am I doing? Am I sulking, or am I making sure I'm eating well and that I'm getting sunshine and that I'm keeping my creative juices flowing and I'm focusing on that goal you mentioned, what is next, and just doing my best to move the needle forward each day and being faithful.
Yes, I love that. Having faith and positivity.
Yes. And I will tell you, I think positivity is a big factor in it. They say the mind is a powerful thing, whether, it's someone who's dealing with a sickness and they say, oh, you got to believe, you will be cured. And we've heard many miracle stories where that's happened, down to people talking about visualization and imagination and really picturing yourself where you want. The bottom line is the mind is a powerful thing. And I think you told me recently, what percent of our brain do we normally only use? Was it 6% or something like that?
Yeah, I was saying that I read recently that we are using some super, super tiny percentage of our brain's ability. And when I say our brain, I mean unlocking all the different potential that we have. We live in this plane that we're in, and we are so utilizing the senses that we are commonly using every day. But unlocking that potential that we have when we expand our thinking, when we allow creativity to flow. And sometimes if you notice, you'll wake up at 3 a.m. in the night and you'll be like, oh my God, I had this genius idea, this most amazing idea. I'll tell you the funniest thing. I used to run a dance studio for many, many years. And I used to have blocks in choreography, and I used to struggle with I do not know how to be different. I used to overthink it, and I used to that overthinking used to cause this block in the flow. At 3 a.m., I have woken up once a month, and I will come up with an idea. And I had my book right next to me on my bedside. I'd open my book, and I'd start writing the choreography. And I had my own way. Every choreographer, dancer has their own way of writing choreography. The choreography would flow. I promise the next morning I'd wake up and be like, this made sense. This was not like some crazy thing I did at 3 a.m. My family thought I was nuts to do this sometimes, but meaning unlocking that section of your brain comes from a certain level of stillness, whatever it may be meditation for some, it may be focus for some, but whatever level of stillness you need to get to unlock that is where we need to be. But yes, we do not use a large part of our potential. It's still untapped.
And what's so exciting about creative people, no matter the medium, is we're using different sides of our brain.
Exactly.
Especially when we add business to it. So, right? So I did hear recently the best way to use both parts of your brain is math and music.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thought, how simple is that? Let's do some math while listening to some jams and singing along. And that really will get your left, and right side of your brain going together.
Oh, yeah. My dad is in his 70s and he does Sudoku every day, multiple Sudokus while listening to music. And he feels like that just keeps him so sharp.
Yeah, and that puts you in the flow.
Yep.
I do want to talk about some ideas that are a little bit more on the nose to what an artist can do between gigs, apart from their personal growth, development, health, which we've mentioned, tapping into their community, which we've discussed. But what else can they do if I need to put bread on my table and pay my rent now? I'm waiting for the next acting gig. Some are obvious.
Yep.
We'll talk about them, but some maybe we'll start to churn some gears for our listeners today. Service industry is one, especially asking friends that are servers or work in restaurants. Do you guys need a hand?
Correct.
You need a host, you need a server. Uber, rideshare, Lyft. Tutoring, I love that. Substitute teaching. Absolutely. And I would suggest all these items to start within your community first.
Yep.
Start local. Look at the places directly, around the corner from where you live.
Right.
Just to
Retail.
keep it simple for you.
Yep.
Retail.
All things
I love
retail,
that.
in and around, whatever is convenient, comfortable that one is able to do, whatever is the closest draw to your desire, whatever comes close to what you
Absolutely.
like to do yes, those are, at the end of the day, you need those practical things to do as well to augment all of these other developmental things that one's doing. And I absolutely loved all of your ideas. And speaking of creativity, do we want to get into today's pop culture moment?
Yes. So today's pop culture moment, we're talking about a spin-off of The Bachelor, right? The Golden Bachelor.
So I think this is what you call, what do they call it? It's the never-ending saga of franchise. Yeah. You can just keep coming up with various ideas and keep going on and, making this franchise last forever. The Bachelor is never going to end.
Correct. And I'm looking at the Hollywood Reporter here to give you guys the scoop. It's really fascinating, Kavita. This new Bachelor, the Golden Bachelor, his name is Jerry Turner. Okay. He is 71 years old.
Oh my God,
and he looks great.
He does look great.
I hope I look as good as Jerry when I'm 71.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's someone who is definitely doing the basics, eating healthy, and getting
71's
his workout
the new
in.
what? 41, 51?
And
something like that.
Who made that a possibility? Jennifer Lopez.
Of
She's
course.
taught us that age is nothing but a number.
Absolutely.
She looks stunning. And this guy here, back to Jerry, he's looking great. And he's looking for, his true love. And all of the women participating that are eligible are ages 65 and older.
All right. So, Shri, watch out.
Kavita, you're nowhere near participating in that show.
I know.
With that said,
I'm going to have to just watch. But
we will watch.
What do you think about this? So this is an example of obviously creative. Someone literally came up with the idea and said that, hey, why don't we do The Bachelor for, senior citizens? Right? Sorry.
It's funny because it's funny.
I think it's great.
But at the same token, why not, right?
Why not? Absolutely.
I'll tune in to watch an episode or two. I'd like to see what is the petty drama between 65-plus-year-old women.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say fighting over this man, but that's what The Bachelor is.
Yeah.
It's a competition to win his heart.
And
there must be drama involved.
Oh,
it's 100%. Reality TV. So I'm just so curious. What do you think it's going to be like?
Yeah. A side question. For reality shows like this, does this also fall under the category of the writers and all
Great
of that?
question.
Are they also part of the strike and everything? Or is reality having a little bit of flexibility to go ahead and
You're
create.
going to see a lot more reality TV now because it does not fall with the writer's strike,
Okay.
Nor does it fall with the actor's strike. We're going to see a lot more reality shows because they're able to be made and they're able to be made quick. And on reality shows, producers are usually the quote writers, unquote. All right, producers are saying, oh, she seems like the heroine type. This one seems like the nice girl. Let's now have them have a confrontation.
Right.
Let's have them meet at the bar. Send cameras 1 and 2 over there.
Okay.
You know, producers are really manipulating the story. When you watch reality TV, those of you that don't know, it's, you know, scripted to some extent.
I was just gonna
even though
say,
it's unscripted, to
unscripted,
some extent.
yeah.
It's manipulated, I should say.
That's the right
so
word, yeah.
I'm curious to see what these 65-plus-year-old women are going to be doing competing for Jerry.
Yeah, and then are we going to have like kids, grandkids come into the drama? Is that all going to be happening?
It's opening up for an older generation and demographic, a new opportunity for them.
Yeah.
And I think that's super exciting. And, you know, the fact of the matter is, will I watch it? I mean, honestly, probably not.
I don't think
because I
so.
don't
I'm not
watch
sure.
The Bachelor.
I don't, yeah, exactly.
But I will be looking at some clips on social media, I'm sure. I will be looking forward to the memes.
Right.
It's going to definitely have some appeal with that, I'm sure.
Having said that, I used to watch The Bachelor when it first came out. I don't forget the years, but I want to say like early 2010s or whatever that was. I used to enjoy it. I used to watch The Bachelorette. It's just we're in like the golden age of content. There is so much.
I'm surprised they haven't done like a gay Bachelor or a lesbian Bachelor.
They have not?
I mean,
what are you saying? Really?
The Bachelor.
The Bachelor, the franchise.
The franchise, correct.
Hasn't. There are other shows.
I'm sure
like
there
that.
are reality
Yeah.
TV shows with love. One was called, I think, Love Trip to Paris or something like that.
Okay.
It's on Netflix, and their cast is very diverse.
Okay, great.
With gay, straight, bi,
Yeah.
fluid. I mean, that was really cool to watch.
We had to take a break because we were both having a giggle fest, right? No, but I do think that if the reality world is going to have like more shows, I think that there will be opportunities for people that are in urgent, critical, immediate need of work will be hopefully able to transfer into some of those opportunities for the time being till the strike ends and negotiations, come to and they get back to their originally planned, work. So in that sense of the word, I am, okay that at least the reality world is continuing. There is so many great shows, so much amazing opportunities there. So that's a good thing. But yeah, I'm excited to see this show, and we'll see.
I'm excited to see what happens. And I do think, like you said, it's such a smart idea in terms of reinventing and getting the most out of a product. I'm not saying it's going to be good or bad. I'm just saying those producers are making the most of it. They're milking it.
Yeah.
And I encourage all of our filmmakers, musicians, artists to think about what you can do to reinvent maybe some of your work or some of yourself that you want to be more appealing. Maybe it's the way you present yourself online or the way you present yourself in person. Maybe it's reinventing a song you worked on, Kavita, a remix perhaps.
Oh my God, yes, exactly. That's a great idea. So many things like that. A remix, a video, a dance content, something that'll augment your song that's already out. Again, coming back to social media, which we've been it's going to appear in almost every episode of ours. Social media is kind of like an important vehicle. It's a media that you can share your art in, so it's important. But so we had to pause a few minutes back because we were in a giggle fit. We just got into a giggle fit, so we had to pause, and we will share videos of that giggle fest with you all. But yeah.
And with that said, it's because we have so much fun recording together.
It is so funny.
It really
it's
is. And we will go ahead and tease for those of you listening.
Yes.
Next week will be about personal and professional relationships.
Yes.
And I think that's so appropriate.
That is so appropriate the way we
me
were
and you
today.
giggle all the time and how we
Yes.
try to get these episodes done and beyond that.
Yes.
So thank you for those of you tuning in. You know
Yes.
what to do to get in touch with us. My name is Walid Shaya.
I'm Kavita Raj. Thank you.
And see you later.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow on Instagram and TikTok. We love interacting. Also, the content in this podcast episode is provided for general informational purposes only. By listening to our episode, which we love, you understand that no information contained in this episode should be construed as advice from Lights Camera Conversation or our individual authors, hosts, or guests. Nor is it intended to be a substitute for research on any subject matter. We always encourage you to do your research. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by Lights Camera Conversation. The views expressed by speakers are their own, and their appearance on our program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. Thanks for listening, and until next time, have a great day.